All right, guys, we have a longtime friend, fellow creator. I know a lot of you guys ask us who are some of the creators that we like to watch, and a name that comes up often is Erik Anders Lang. Absolutely love what Erik is doing for the game, and we've got him here with us from home. Erik, how's it going?
It's good. It's good. I'm on coffee number one, which is honestly it's the pinnacle of the day. It's kind of like it's like sleep for me is the chairlift. I wake up, I'm at the top of the mountain, first cup of coffee, and then pretty much it's all downhill from there.
Yeah, you can't beat that first cup, man. You can't beat that
Yeah,
first cup. Yeah, it's a little earlier where you are. You're what? It's like 9 in the morning over there. So
9:15. Yeah,
yeah.
I got up today at 7, and then decided to extend my sleep because it was so enjoyable. And then I woke up at a 7:45. So it's been like I've been awake for an hour and a half, but it feels like I've only been awake for like 10 minutes.
And you're still only
And
on that first cup. That's impressive. By that time, I'd be on like 2 or 3 at that point.
yeah, actually, I mean, there's part of me that wants to pause the podcast and just go make it come.
Please hold.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's okay. I mean, it's actually a treat for when we're done. That's the way I look at it.
There
There
you
you
go.
go.
I like
That's a good way
that.
to look at it.
So is this like the longest you've been home in a while?
Um, there is no other version that's more opposite of my life in normal than this, right? Like, yeah, I mean, it's weird, and it's weird in the sense that it's also taking a while to like wash over me. Like, I'm not really clear on what's actually happening. But yeah, there's the normal life was, on a plane all the time and just kind of always going somewhere and running around. And yeah, this is the exact opposite of that. I mean, the only thing that would be more opposite is if I was, just, it sounds morbid, but just if I was just dead, that would be the only thing that would be more different. But I have found, the truth is, as toward the end of last year, I was thinking to myself and saying to my close friends, like, I need to I need to change. I need something a little different. I can't sustain this level of travel and work. And you guys may have heard, I did a podcast about how I was experiencing depression,
Mm.
and I was feeling uninspired. And I mean, it's a really nice compliment you guys give me about saying that you like what we do, right? And I mean, that means a lot. But the sad thing is that because of what we were doing and the busy life that over there, it was not as fun. And I was looking forward to having some time alone and some time at home. And I got it.
Right.
And now what's kind of funny is I try to just picture, instead of being like, oh, I can't leave the house, I can't go to the store, I can't do this, can't do that, I can't play golf. I'm trying to just say to myself, this is what I need. I needed me time. I'm just taking some time to myself. And that works about 60% of the time.
Right. Right. Well,
But
because
yeah,
that's it. I mean,
that's the
you
update.
sometimes you know what you need, but it's hard to make that jump to actually do it. Like in this case, almost the universe had to give it to you for you to actually take that break a bit.
Yeah, so you're saying coronavirus is all just to help me stay at home?
This was all designed
That's
for
right.
Erik, this whole thing.
Yeah, yeah. There are probably people that feel that way. I just the hard thing too is, like, in these times, like, you know, we always will be happier if we function from a place of gratitude. And I know I'm really in danger when I'm not able to be grateful for everything in my life. And even, whatever it is, like, whether it's a window or a quiet street or a dog or my family is healthy or, I got the Peloton at the last second and now I can go ride or whatever it is. I mean, like, when we look at Woody Allen or Larry David, to like curmudgeons of media, like they both would say, like, life is either terrible or awful. So be grateful that it's just terrible.
Well, speaking of having dogs,
I
how
love
is
that.
Snowball making it through this? Because I heard somebody say something the other day, which was funny. They said all the dogs are thinking whatever's going on right now, it's great.
Yeah, he's loving it. He constant affection. Petting is off the charts.
Yeah.
Dog walks have doubled, and we talk a lot more. He is enjoying it. I am noticing really that he doesn't really do anything. He doesn't have any hobbies. He doesn't have a job. He's really just sits there all day long. And I've tried to talk to him about it, but he's stubborn. He's an old dog.
He's an old man.
And
Yeah, he's
yeah,
retired. Yeah.
but he's made it onto some merchandise, and he's happy with that, and whatever.
He's famous. Hey, speaking of that merchandise, look, we can do a nice segue here. I wanted to talk to you about No Kid Hungry campaign that you did, because this is something that, again, you talk about being grateful, making something of a bad situation. When I first saw you did it, I thought that was very commendable, but tell us a little bit about it and how that relates to another topic I want to talk to you about in a minute, but Random Golf Club. But tell us a little bit about this No Kid Hungry campaign you guys are doing.
Yeah, well, No Kid Hungry, and really anyone who's doing a charity thing right now, it's twofold, right? One is obviously to create some impact in someone's life through some currency, whether it's time or money. And, we saw an opportunity to point, some of the, flow of the merchandise that we were already making into supporting a cause that we found and thought, wow, that's really interesting. Like, I didn't realize that was a problem. And what's interesting is, we offered people two opportunities to support. One was, if you buy a piece of merchandise, 20% of that goes to No Kid Hungry. If you want to just donate, you can donate through our link, and that will go straight to them. And what we found was really interesting was, not only do we raise something like $13,000 individually, which was matched and doubled by Waste Management. So they put in 26,000, so about $40,000. And with No Kid Hungry, what they're doing is feeding kids who otherwise weren't going to be fed because school was out.
Right.
They don't have food in their house. And so the numbers with No Kid Hungry are in the 200 million range. Meals have been missed so far.
Wow.
This year. And this is actually a nonprofit that has gone back about 10 years. So this has been an issue, and now it's really coming into the forefront of, taking care of our American youth. And so the help that we give is 10x. So if you give $1, you feed 10, you make 10 lunches. So with $40,000, we created almost 500,000 lunches out there. And, the interesting thing for me is not even so much about that. It's not even about the 500,000 lunches. It's about the awareness of a problem and what we can do to fix it. Because, we only did it for a 2-week window. And, I wasn't a telethon, I wasn't hitting people hard. I was just saying, Random Golf Club community, here we have an opportunity to rally around something that's important to me, that should be important to you, that's important to everybody here. And, in my head, it was a really great success. I was totally blown away with what we were able to accomplish in a short period of time. And I hope that there will be some long-term, reverberations within all of this. And ultimately, I hope that it has even an impact that I couldn't even imagine. Like, maybe one person does something different in their own life, or maybe one brand decides to, let's actually switch. Let's do something over here, because, we all have, the opportunity to do something, and it's just whether or not we do.
And it's like you said, it brings, if nothing else, it brings awareness to something that had been there before. But
Yeah.
now you're there. And one thing that I've always said, one of my favorite parts about the game of golf is the charitable aspect of it. There's no sport that raises more money for charity than golf. And we see a lot of golf clubs that do things like charitable tournaments and stuff like that. So what I like seeing is Random Golf Club, which is its own new concept, kind of having its own take on that. And by bringing this golf club, this community together towards a cause, I think that was an interesting way of melding those two together.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah. But let's
Yeah, I
talk a
mean
little bit
the
about that too.
typical.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. I want to talk about Random Golf Club
Sure.
in a second, but go ahead. I've cut you off.
Well, yeah, I mean, I want to learn more about it, but what's interesting is charities typically it's an interesting process for golf, PGA Tour in general, which is you know the volunteers make an event possible on the PGA Tour, like the farmers.
Yep.
2,000 volunteers come out all for free in order to get a donation from the PGA Tour to the tune of a couple $1 million to their charity. And it's an interesting way of doing it because really they're saying, okay, you volunteers, you don't need a job. You're typically older, right? But you do want to do some good in the earth. PGA Tour has a job that needs to get done. I mean, people have to do ShotLink is all volunteer run.
Yep.
Obviously, all the gates, a lot of things are volunteer done, and there's like a crazy protocol for making this all happen, and it's really brilliant. And that's why the PGA Tour is not it's a business league. It's like a 501c4. It's not quite a nonprofit, but it's not a incorporated business. It's not an LLC. It's a business league. So it's like really interesting how that all functions, being that it's $1 billion company, or
right.
I don't know money stuff, but
right.
So it is really interesting that that's the way that all works. And I mean, we just kind of took a stab at it, and our community came through, which I thought was really I was blown away. I was blown away.
Especially to do so much in such a, as you said, such a short time frame, 2 weeks. It's incredible, but yeah, we've experienced similar. I mean, even working with Arnie's Army, who does the Arnold Palmer Invitational every year, another terrific group of people, and it is interesting. It's one of those rare win-wins, where both the charities and also from the business side of it and people working and all that. So for sure. But speaking on Random Golf Club, so this is something that over the past year has really increased in awareness. You've had some incredible events. It's great to see what you're doing. It's something new that no one else has done, and just seeing those groups going out together. Obviously, right now puts a little bit of a damper on that. Can't get in groups together. But what are the goals? What are the plans for 2020? Assuming we work our way through this, no one knows the timeline, but you get what I'm saying. Where are we going with Random Golf Club?
Well, Random Golf Club, for people who are listening that don't know, it's basically a golf club that's sole mission is to bring people together through golf, and there's no golf course, there's no clubhouse yet, but there is an online community of golfers that really all sees golf the same way, and by that I mean a welcoming nature, a interest in playing well, but not to the detriment of their own enjoyment. We really try to observe the reality that we're never going to have this pattern where each round is our best round, and culminating at some point in a 0.
Right.
It's just the beauty of golf lies in its innate challenge, and it's snake charming in its nature. So Random Golf Club started for me back when I was at a private golf club in LA paying dues. And I just thought, the problem with this is that everybody I'm meeting has already self-selected through socioeconomic levels. And I don't really get down with that.
Right. Yeah.
That's not my band. That's not my vibe. I have always been just inspired by talking to anybody.
Yeah.
And what happens when you have someone who pays X amount of dollars to be a member here is great people, by the way. I'm not knocking the club at all, but you end up with a different energy than when you go somewhere where everyone is just, equally involved. There are a lot of nuance there, but ultimately, Random Golf Club started out as just kind of a hat, and it obviously stood for some things, and it's kind of, for lack of a better word, snowballed into
Right.
what it is now, where we do live events, where we bring out somewhere between 50 and 100 people. We play golf on the same hole in alternate shot team format with someone you don't know, and it's in a sense that is our biggest and best offering, because I can't translate to anyone who is, whether they've been playing golf for a little bit or a lot bit, whether they've been just started or whether they've been playing their entire lives, playing in front of 50 to 100 people on the same hole is energizing. It's electric. It's terrifying. It's exciting.
Right.
It's so many things. And it's also kind of enlightening. Like you really watch yourself go through this like intense pressurized echo chamber of, oh my goodness, everyone's watching. What if I hit a bad shot? Oh my God, I hit a bad shot. Nobody cares.
Right.
They're still talking to me.
Right. And that's
like,
exactly what you said. That's
goodness,
energizing. Right.
I am not out here to be the best golfer. Yeah, I am. It's enlightening. I am not out there to be the best golfer, and nobody cares. I mean, hell, Rory blew up at the 2011 Masters. He's still number one in the world. Everyone still loves him. It doesn't matter. His personality is more important than his record.
Yeah.
I mean, like, and the truth is, we all forget. Like a Tiger at one point in his career was like persona non grata. Like people were like, no, he's a bad human. And
right.
now it's like, we can't, why can't he defend his title? We want the Masters to go on so that he can defend his title.
Right.
So many things. But, ultimately, Random Golf Club is that reminder that every shot and every step we take on the golf course with this micro community is a reminder that we can just be whoever we want to be, and we can say hi to whoever we want to say hi to. My favorite thing when we leave one of those Random Golf Club meetups is seeing people exchange numbers in a city that I don't live in, and like going out to hang out later and hearing about it. As far as the future for Random Golf Club, we're working on a lot of things. It's hard for me to speak to them in too much specificity because I don't exactly know what they're going to turn into, but the real kind of simplest way to put it is there's going to be a lot more ways to consume what Random Golf Club is, to experience it without necessarily, visiting, Winnetka, without visiting necessarily, whoever in Boise, Idaho. It's like there's going to be possibilities to get involved on a bunch of levels, and continue telling the story of Random Golf Club in a more direct way.
Yeah, well, that's what appealed to me about it, was that, as you said, it stands for something. So even though, Mike and we haven't been at one of the events yet or something like that, I remember when we first talked about it, there was the option to have Random Golf Club on our gin, where it would say that. And I had already had a club, whatever, but I switched it to Random Golf Club because it stands for something. I've always said that I think that the beauty of the game is the diversity. And like you said, not knocking some of the private clubs, but even beyond the economic side of it, a lot of these clubs, as you know, have it's very insular in that you have to go through almost an application period, and people have to kind of vouch for you to bring you in. And what happens with that often is it gets a little bit too narrow in the demographic, because a lot of people bring in like people. So what I liked about Random Golf Club was this idea. You had some people that I remember seeing some of the videos, it was like their first time out on the course, from that all the way up. And I think that is something, it stands for something, and being a part of that shows that you're kind of embracing the bigger aspect of the game rather than whatever else. And again, not trying to knock the other way of doing it, but that's something that I personally attach to. And that's what, that bigger feeling. So that's why I made the switch on my gin anyway.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's a big part of it. Is it's like there are a lot of different, places to download streaming music. They're all great. I mean, it's a very simple way to put it because, obviously there's a lot of different ways to play golf and there's a lot of different ways to align yourself with golf. And ultimately, when I came to golf, it was really, it was not a welcoming place on really any level, whether it was the golf store where I was basically committing tens of 20 to $100, $200 on a club. And it was like they wanted me to get the hell out of there. They didn't want me involved in the buying of golf equipment. Whereas when I go to any other place to go spend my money, they're like, please don't leave without spending money. But at the golf store, it was always like, get out of here. I don't care. And at the golf course, it was like that. And I'm not saying this was always the case. And I may be a sensitive guy, but that's what it was for me, is I just felt like the PR problem of golf existed not only in TV, film, radio. Like the image of golf was not open. It was not friendly. It was every movie, the golfer is a bad guy.
Right.
And we always had this specific outfit that didn't really look that cool for young guys like us. I mean, we got the style,
Yep.
but it was not, the image of golf was not what I ended up finding it to be. And so that's really Random Golf Club's main mission, is to really bring, is to support new golfers throughout their golf career, is to invite people who've never played golf into a game that is revolutionized. And also it's to save those people at the end of their line who are saying, I'm going to throw my clubs out. I hate this game. I can't stand it. I can't hit the ball anymore. Because ultimately, what happens at some point in our career, if we're good enough, is we start to put the cart before the horse and we start to really feel like score identifies who we are. And everything I've read says that you're going to stop playing pretty quickly once you start doing that. And so Random Golf Club was really aimed at being like a place of community that is way more sustainable than a place of, I need to figure out how to finish that sentence some other day because I'm not quite awake enough.
On the second cup of coffee, you'll get that one. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I think, like I said, I think it's terrific what you're doing with it. And we'll look forward to seeing more of it. Like I said, because so much of it is in person, hopefully we all work our way through this and everybody's back out there soon and we get to see a little bit more. One thing we have got to see on your channels recently has been the Ace Cam series.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, which has just been
it's been a blessing.
Yeah, that's been getting us through something to watch,
It's live right now.
And I know you? I think did we talk about this the first time we had you on the podcast? I think we did 2 years ago. That you've got one ace, right? At some point.
Yeah.
But it was a little bit earlier in the career.
Yeah, it was. I've been playing golf for 2 years, and I didn't. Ace Cam did not exist at all, and I don't even know if cell phones could record video at the time. And yeah, I was at Rustic Canyon, 200 yards, just a little 4-iron, didn't hit it that well, kind of on the heel, and the guy I was playing with didn't know him. He said, check the hole, and I was like, it's not in the hole, and apparently it was. I went to the hole, I was in there, and I was like, you're kidding me. I didn't even realize how special it was to get a hole in one. That's how early it was. I've been playing golf for a year or two. I didn't even know how lucky it was. So now after I'm a 9-year dry spell over here, it could be worse, obviously, but so now we've just become fascinated with the idea of filming on every par 3 with the idea that you never know when it'll happen. It's like the lotto,
Well, and you've got some of the world's best golfers out there in the series, taking lots of cracks at it. And if anything proves how difficult and how rare it really is, it's watching those guys struggle with it. That's for sure.
Yeah. I mean, Dustin Johnson, Jason Day, Colin Morikawa, Bo Hostler, Maria Fassi, and Matt Wolf all step up. And we had about an hour with each player in the hot Florida sun, pretty humid when we shot this. And one of them got a hole in one, and you could hear it across the entire property. apparently all the other players that were also, because this is tailor-made these 2 days. And so when someone did get a hole in one, and it was like unbelievable, and everybody else on the property could hear it, and they said, "Oh my God, who was that? Who was that? Who got it?" Right. And it was cool. It was exciting. So the final video is now live with who got the hole in one.
Oh, okay. That just was today, right? I got to check that one out. I haven't seen it yet.
I think by the way, 41 minutes ago.
There you go.
The swing was looking pretty good. I wanted to tell you that.
Mine?
Yeah, man. To stand there next to DJ and Day and take a couple swings, and I mean, there got to be a little bit of nerves, right? Or you.
It was not only nerve-wracking, but it was like, also I had hit a lot of shots, and that sort of messes me up. Like, I'm better off just not hitting any shots and just sort of dreaming of perfection. So towards the end, my back was hurting, and I was like, I had gone from hitting a pitching wedge to like a baby 8-iron just because my back was hurting so much. But I appreciate that. Thank you. I mean, it's really interesting to hit balls next to them, because you just see the stark contrast between their launch condition, their shot shape, their tempo, and then you see yours. And mine is kind of like a rusty box of tools being thrown into like off of a truck on the freeway, just like sparks flying, just like sliding all over the place. And theirs is like a bullet train just starting, on track.
But you got a couple good tips.
We got some good tips. Yeah, we're working on those. We'll see. We'll see. Who knows? Maybe next round it'll happen for people.
Yes.
We'll see.
There you go. Well, the last thing I wanted to ask you before we let you get back to that second cup of coffee that you can reward yourself with is I want to talk about adventures in golf, and excuse me if I've got my timeline wrong. 4 weeks working from home with 2 kids has got me a little bit fried, but I know you were set to record another series, so there's going to be some more travel. I don't remember timeline. Did you get that recording, or was that planned?
Right now, we had to make the difficult decision this year to not go to the Masters, and we would be in Peru.
Okay, yeah, that's the South American one, right?
Yeah, so we were. It was about 3 or 4 weeks ago. Time is slipping away. Where it was a Monday night, and I was doing the final stages of booking the flights to Buenos Aires, and I started hearing word about business travelers being quarantined on their way back into the country, and this was way before. I guess this was the week of the Players. So it was the Monday of the Players. And It was really when things were starting to bubble up. And I decided, you know what? I'm not going to book my travel today, because I just don't understand why people would be getting quarantined. And then I started to realize that it was more serious on Tuesday.
Yeah.
And then pretty much by Wednesday, I was of the opinion, guys, we're not going anywhere for a while.
Yeah.
This is going to grind to a halt. And I didn't know that it's going to mean restaurants. I didn't know that it's going to mean don't leave your house. I didn't know any of those things, obviously, but I did realize that we're not leaving the country. And the truth is, we're probably not going to travel domestically either. So, we had a schedule that was pretty aggressive. Like, it was 2.5 weeks in South America, straight to Germany for a client job, then another Adventures in Golf in Germany. Then, it just didn't stop. Then it was like Dublin, New York, Connecticut, back to LA for 4 days, then Texas, Alabama. It was, and then it was like Winged Foot. Then it was then it was a bunch of little things there. And then it was Royal St. George's. Then it was San Francisco, whatever it was. I can't remember, but yeah, it seems like, normally, I don't know about you guys, but our time off is kind of in the fall, like October, November, December. So it seems like that we're going to get that now, and then the tournaments are going to come in the fall, and it's going to be just as hectic. It's just going to be a swap. And the truth is, like I was telling you earlier, like with Random Golf Club, we're working on a lot of stuff. We're working on creating an experience for users on many different platforms. So, it's exciting to work on that now. And I think that it's a great time to do it. And we're all systems go on it. And, AIG is definitely going to happen, and we're excited for season 5. We're not really sure how, when, where, or what. And I think there's a 5th one, but we'll see.
Well, yeah, I think that's a good way to think of it. It's a shift more than a cancellation. And yeah, we'll just be busier this fall. But hey, I mean, yeah, you were right that things did escalate quickly that week. I mean, thinking everything was semi-normal on Monday to right after they played that first round and then the players getting canceled the next day, I think that's when it set in even for us how real it was. And, we were supposed to be in Pinehurst in 2 weeks, same type of thing. And then off to Whistling Straits and all that stuff for us is just same thing. Just kind of shift it down the line and just keep our fingers crossed that line is sooner than later. So,
yeah,
but we'll see.
Crazy.
It is. All right. Well, listen, great catching up with you. Glad to see you're staying
Thanks,
safe,
Mike.
staying and everything.
Thanks,
Yep.
Mike.
Yeah, man.
Good talking with you. And I'm sure we'll catch up soon. And then at some point, for all the times that our paths have crossed, we have not actually played any golf together. So we've got to change that at some point.
We are overdue. I look forward to it. Obviously, there's a lot of courses in New Jersey that I would love to explore. I think the Northeast has some of the best golf in the world. And I look forward to it, man. Once you guys, are you guys able to play right now? Yeah.
Not really. No, there's some
Not
courses that are open, but it's dicey. Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah.
It's weird.
And it's also, we don't want to send a weird signal like going out and doing it when everyone's trying to do their part and staying home. I know there's safe ways to do it, but we got to see. We're kind of weighing the options on a daily basis. So.
Yeah, you're not a pro.
Right.
It doesn't matter if you can hit a shot or two. It doesn't change your life. It's just like, oh, really? You really had to do that? Why don't you just go for a walk?
Right.
Yeah.
Which is better than golf for me some days anyway. But all right, Erik, good talking with you. We'll chat again soon.
Thanks, guys.
Take care.
Appreciate it, man. Take care.
Bye.